For this project, I have a bunch of jeans, old jeans. My boyfriend thrifted them. He rips them in the same spot every time. Right by the back pocket. Hey. Same spot every time. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of jeans to use for this project. I don't want to mix and match colors too much. I don't want this to look like patchwork. So what I'm gonna do is I think these two, one of these is like a kind of a blue and the other one is like a gray, but they're close enough that this is fine. And then these are all blue. And I have one more pair of jeans that I want to use that are actually my jeans that I bought in like 2022, back when wide-legged cropped was a style for some reason. Like, they didn't make everybody's legs look super short and stocky. I have no idea what collectively everybody was thinking. Nobody looks good in these jeans. Absolutely nobody. If you have a pair of these jeans, get rid of them because you look awful in them. So for this project, I am going to make basically a Canadian tuxedo. All denim. Denim on the top, denim on the bottom, all denim, except it's going to be a dress. A Canadian cocktail dress, if you will. Basically, what I'm thinking is I want something that looks like a denim vest. You know, just kind of like when you think of a denim vest. This is what you get. Buttons, 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 buttons. And it's got like a waistband, and then it flares out. Truly, a Canadian cocktail dress. Oh my gosh, that drawing. And then, of course, it has to have pockets. It has to have pockets. When I take apart these jeans, I'm going to use the leg portions to create this, so there's probably going to have to be done in panels because I don't have a large enough continuous piece of fabric to just have a full circle skirt. It's going to have to be panels. And so I think that could be a good way to get some fullness in here, but this is the plan for today. So the first order of business for this project is disassembling all of the jeans. I already know that I want to use the waistbands for this project and roughly how I'm going to use the pant legs. So I ripped out all the seams that needed to be disassembled and broke everything down into its component parts. Then I gave everything that I was planning on using in this project a press to get out any creases and wrinkles so I could fully assess what I had to work with. Once I had an idea of how much material I had to work with, I took some construction paper and sketched out a pattern for the skirt panel pieces. One thing I'm always surprised to remember is that crafting is like 80% calculations and 20% actually doing the thing. Also, just as a side note, for any of you who are into ASMR like I am, the sounds from this portion of the video were super duper relaxing while I was editing it. So let me know in the comments below if you are interested in me uploading just a version of this particular section that only has the sounds, no background music. Because if you're interested in that, I will definitely upload it. Once I had my pattern piece ready to go, I laid out the jeans and traced the pattern on to each of the pant legs. I'm using the pant legs upside down, so basically the portion that was the ankle is now going to be nearest to my waist, and the portion that was the thigh is going to be on the bottom because it widens out gradually from ankle to thigh. I also left the seam on the outside of the leg intact instead of unpicking it, because there's no need to rip out a seam just to redo it. Okay, so this is simultaneously too big and not full enough. I want more fullness. So I think I'll like resize the panels to be smaller, but then right now I've got 4 panels and I'm gonna have 6 panels instead. So I need to resize this to be 6 panels with narrower, narrower at the waist, and then add those in And I think that should be good. I am so tired.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Let's listen to some unsolved mysteries. Yes, this is much better. It just barely comes to a close in the front, which is fine because I am going to add one of these on either side in the front. And now it's a lot more full. Still not perfect. Like it's, I don't know, what is this, like a half circle skirt? I kind of wanted like a 3/4 circle skirt, but that's okay. I don't have enough to do that, so that's okay. Still good. I'm gonna call this day 2 or 3. What I have so far is missing. Kind of hard to tell with the pockets spreading out, but yeah, it looks pretty good. It flares out a little bit, which is what I wanted. So if I had like a petticoat or something on under here, it would puff out quite a bit. One of these days I want to get a serger. One of these days I want to get a serger so that I could have, you know, better seams. I finish all my seams in my projects. Like, I can't not finish my seams. There are some people that I follow here on YouTube who are like, oh, I'm just not gonna finish my seams and then my seams are ever finished. And I'm like, how do you do that? I want things to look good on the inside, right? And so having to do it with a zigzag stitch though, I'm like, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good on the inside. So one of these days I want to get a serger so that I could properly finish the seams. I need to sort out all of these little scraps that are on the floor. Some of these are getting used for, the waistband is actually going to get used for the button closures. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. So I get 4 to choose from. And then I harvested the pockets from some too. I'm not gonna have the entire like back pocket on my chest, or else that's gonna, I hate things where it's like they put 2 things like right over your boobs and it's like, here's my boobs. So I'm gonna make these smaller so they sit kind of more like that. We'll figure out what's going on with the vest later. So for now, I got some ironing I need to do. For the pockets, I opted to create a new pocket that's customized to the shape of the skirt rather than trying to salvage some of the pockets from the jeans, just because I didn't want a bunch of loose pocket bags flopping against my thighs while I walk. I want pocket bags that are going to be anchored to the skirt. To create the pocket bags, I used some fabric that came in a Mood mystery grab bag that I bought years ago. For those of you that don't know, those mystery grab bags are basically where you can pay $50 or something like that, and Mood will send you a random assortment of fabrics. Some of them are pretty awesome. Some of them are like ones that I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this. But in this case, this fabric came in pretty handy. I think this might just be cotton, like quilting cotton. It feels like it could just be quilting cotton, so I don't know for sure what it is. Once the pockets were attached, I took one of the old waistbands from the jeans and attached it onto the skirt to form the new waistband. Once the waistband was on, there was one final thing I had to do to finish the skirt for now, which was get rid of this awful screen-printed logo. That's where every crafter's best friend, isopropyl alcohol, comes in. It's also just known as rubbing alcohol. It's the kind you use to clean wounds. It will also take off a lot of different materials. I'm not sure what kind of paint or coloring agent is used for this logo, but once I soaked it in alcohol, it was pretty easy to just scratch off with my fingernails. And I drank all my coffee already. All right, so this is day, I don't know. My kids are home from school for the summer. And as a laid-off tech worker, that means I can't really afford to put them in a summer program. So they're just home while I'm trying to get stuff done. So today I'm in my natural state, including my pajamas. I did put a bra on though, so you're welcome. I probably look like hell. Today I need to work on the vest part, like the upper portion of it. For the vest, unlike for the skirt where I didn't make a mock-up because I was like, it's a skirt, how hard could it be? The vest, I do want to make a mock-up, not because I think it's difficult, but because I only have 2 pant legs left, so I don't have any room for error on this. If I mess it up, I will have to go and like take some of my own pants or something. And the goal with this project is I don't want to buy anything. I don't have to. The only thing that I have bought for this project is I did have to buy buttons because all of the rivets and the buttons, I was looking up like, oh, how do I remove the buttons from all these jeans? And like the general consensus was, oh, you can like snap them off with like bolt cutters. So you can snap them off, but they're not reusable in that sense. So I had to buy new buttons that look like this. Nice unbranded metal buttons. So yeah, today, the vest. I need to make a mock-up. I have like an old sheet that I can use. And then I downloaded a pattern by Sew Anastasia, which if you don't know who she is, she does sewing tutorials and stuff here on YouTube, but she also makes patterns, which are awesome. Because I did originally go on to Etsy looking for a denim vest pattern, but it was nothing but AI. Like literally every single thing I saw was either clearly AI or something that I couldn't rule out as being AI, and it sucks. But Sew Anastasia did have a basic vest pattern. It's not exactly what I need it to be, so it is just like a really like a basic kind of waistcoat kind of situation. But what I can do is I can make a mock-up and then modify it. So what I want to do is make it so that there's like a yoke instead of just like a straight vest. So I want it to be like a proper, you know, like a denim vest. Like when you think of a denim vest, I want it to be that. So I'm going to kind of make adjustments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out and make a mock-up. And then the mock-up is just going to be basted together. It's not going to be like fully sewn together. It's just going to be attached enough that I can make some sizing adjustments and everything like that. And then I will take out all the basting stitches and use that as my pattern. But yes, Sew Anastasia has a vest pattern that I used. And then she also had these really cute pattern, unrelated to this project. This will be it for another day, but she also had this really cute pattern for circle shorts. I like me a nice circle short. I like to, they're like secret shorts, you know, move over secret pants. It's time for secret shorts. And then I was at Hobby Lobby again, and they had this really cute Beauty and the Beast fabric. My plan is to make those circle shorts, but to make them reversible. So one side is like this cute, you know, stained glass fabric. But then if I'm like, oh no, I need to look like an adult, here is just red. But yeah, projects for another time. Ooh. So today, let's get working on the vest. So first things first, it's too long for what I need it for. My waist is right here, and the skirt comes up to my waist. So I'm gonna have to cut some of this. Let me just put a marking. Actual waist, and I'll put a little bit below for the seam allowance. So there's that. Then the armholes are way too big. I'm gonna do one of these. And then this I'm planning on having it like kind of fold over because it's like a collar. So let's throw it on the dress form and try and alter it like that. Anyway, this looks good. This looks good. Once I was confident in the size of the vest, I pulled out all of the basting stitches and then roughly sketched on where I want the seams for the new vest to go for the yoke and for the panels that will make up the front and back portions of the vest. Then I retraced everything onto some muslin to add a new seam allowance and then cut everything out and basted it together just to be sure that everything would fit the way I needed it to. Then once I was confident in the fit, it was time for the moment of truth, and I cut everything out of my remaining 2 pant legs. Hello. I'm about to do something I know you're not supposed to do, but I'm going to turn this to the side and cut the back yoke out of this because I want this patch in there, and that's the only way I can do it. But it's fine. Okay, so I have the vest mostly done except for like the collar and stuff and pockets. So I did line it up next to the skirt. It's a little wider than the skirt at the bottom, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew it to the skirt and then just kind of trim off any excess. And then there's this little puckering bit in the back, but it's just on one side. I mean, I guess it's kind of on the other side too. I might have to sew a dart or something in there, but it's hard because it's only while I'm wearing it. Like when I have it on the dress form, it's not there. So I'm not quite sure what to do about that, but yeah, I just need to sew some pockets on and then sew it to the skirt, and then that'll be the vest portion all done. In the end, I decided not to do the pockets on the chest just because I didn't really like the way they looked. I didn't think they added anything, so I decided not to do them. Alright, so let me show you the way that I sewed this on. So basically I've got the waistband like that, and then I sewed this on like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up the waistband and sew it down, and then sew it down like that, so that at least the raw edges for the waistband portion are concealed. My sewing machine is really not up to the task of sewing through multiple layers of denim to get those like flat felled seams, but I can do it at least for the waistband. Kind of fold it over like that and then sew it down there, and that'll be done. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the excess after that. The last thing to do was to create the buttonholes. I attached the new buttons that I got using a hammer. I'm pretty sure there's like some special pliers or something that you're supposed to use for this. I don't have those, so I just used a hammer. It worked out perfectly fine. Then I tried to originally do the buttonholes using my buttonhole foot on my machine, but for some reason, like I've never been good with the buttonhole foot on the machine. It's always a toss-up whether or not it's going to work. So instead of trying to do that and possibly making a mistake that I can't fix because I'm all out of material, I opted to do it the longer but ultimately less disaster-prone way of hand stitching all of the buttonholes. And with that, the dress was complete. Here's the big reveal. All right, so here it is. This is my finished Canadian cocktail dress, if you will. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I'm not a fan of the collar just because I'm not very good at making collars. That's something that I need to work on. So I think probably one of these days I'm going to replace this with like a crochet collar or something like that. As it is for now, my bandwidth for this project is up. So I'm going to leave it as it is for now. It's still perfectly wearable. I'm still very happy with how it turned out. I will definitely be wearing this for the rest of the day today. And I'll save any edits for a future me project. I also wanted to make like a belt that goes around it, like a denim belt, but I ran out of long enough pieces. So that's something that's gonna have to happen for another time. It has pockets that I can store all my stuff. They're nice, deep, big pockets, which I really like. So yeah, anyway, as I've said before, I'm not cut out for OnlyFans. So if you like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because this is the best I can do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.